You know that moment when you open your banking app and immediately pretend your phone died? Yeah, that one. Where you're sitting there, finger hovering over the screen, thinking, maybe if I don't look, the number will be different. Like Schrodinger's bank account. It's both empty and full until you observe it. Spoiler alert, it's empty. I used to do this thing where I'd check my balance, see a number that made me want to cry into my ramen, and then, get this, I'd check it again 5 minutes later, as if money magically appeared, as if the bank fairy came by and was like, you know what, this guy's been through enough. Here's $200.
Yeah.
Never happened, not once. But here's the weird part. There's a specific number where this entire nightmare ends, where you stop playing financial hide and seek with yourself, where you actually smile? I know, sounds fake. And no, it's not $1 million. It's not even six figures. It's $20,000. $20,000. I'm serious. And I'm about to explain why this specific number is basically the financial equivalent of discovering you have superpowers.
Yeah.
I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about money, why we're all terrible with it, and why some people seem to have their lives together while the rest of us are out here Googling, can you negotiate with the electric company? If you want to understand the real psychology behind building wealth, not the Instagram influencer, just buy my course nonsense, hit that subscribe button. And if this video ends up rewiring your brain about money, smash that like button so I know I'm not just screaming into the void. All right, let's talk about what life looks like before you hit $20,000. Picture this. It's Sunday night. You're lying in bed. You should be sleeping. But instead, you're doing advanced calculus in your head. Okay, if I skip lunch 3 times this week, that's like $40? And if I walk to work instead of taking the bus, wait, no, it's raining. Okay, bus. But the cheap bus. The one that smells like sadness and broken dreams. Rent is due Friday. I've got squints at mental spreadsheet. Enough if I don't buy groceries. I'll just eat that pasta from 2019. It's probably fine. Pasta doesn't go bad, right? And then your car makes a noise. Not like a normal noise, like a your bank account is about to scream noise. This is what psychologists call survival mode, but I call it financial anxiety brain. Your entire existence becomes a series of calculations. Can I afford this coffee? Well, let's see. Coffee is $4. I have $47 until Friday. Rent is... yeah, no coffee. Water is free. I'll drink sadness. Should I take this job that makes me want to fake my own death? Well, I can't exactly afford to be picky, can I? My landlord doesn't accept, but I'm following my passion as payment. Your friend wants to hang out? Let's grab dinner. Mental math intensifies. Actually, I already ate a huge meal. I'm so full, couldn't possibly eat. I might explode. You didn't eat. You had crackers. You're starving. But dinner is $30 you don't have. Here's what nobody tells you about being broke. It's not just about the money. It's about the mental space it takes up. Imagine trying to plan your future while your house is literally on fire. That's what it's like trying to think about career growth when you're not sure if you can afford gas to get to work. Your brain is completely consumed by short-term survival. How do I make it to Friday? How do I make it to tomorrow? You can't think about investing. You can't think about building wealth. You can't even think about next month because you're stuck in this 48-hour survival loop. And the worst part? You start making terrible decisions because you're desperate. Oh, you need new tires? Can't afford them. 3 months later, oh, you got in an accident because your tires were bald? Now you really can't afford it. This is what I call the broke person tax. Everything costs more when you're poor because you can't afford to buy quality. You can't afford to prevent problems. You can only afford to react to disasters. Your shoes are falling apart, but good shoes are $100. So you buy $20 shoes that last 2 months. You do this 6 times. Congratulations, you just spent $120 on shoes that suck. Meanwhile, rich people buy 1 pair of $100 shoes that last 5 years.
Wow.
And don't even get me started on payday loans. Just borrow $300 until next week. Yeah, at a 400% interest rate. You know what has a 400% interest rate? Loan sharks. Actual criminals have better rates. But when you're desperate, you're not thinking about interest rates. You're thinking, I need to eat. This is survival mode. This is financial quicksand. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. So what changes at $20,000? Everything.
Wow.
And I mean everything.
Woohoo!
Let me paint you a picture. It's the same Sunday night, same bed, but this time, your brain is different. Your car makes that noise again, and instead of panicking, instead of spiraling into, okay, so if I sell my kidney, you just think, annoying, I'll take it to the mechanic tomorrow. That's it. No anxiety, no calculations, no mental gymnastics. Why? Because you have $20,000 sitting there, waiting, like a financial bouncer that keeps problems from getting into your brain. Here's what researchers found. Having just $2,000 in emergency savings increases your financial well-being by 21%. $2,000. That's less than most people spend on a vacation they took one time and posted 73 Instagram photos about. But that tiny buffer creates a massive psychological shift. You're no longer in pure survival mode. You can actually breathe.
Woohoo!
Now take that to $20,000, which is roughly 3 to 6 months of living expenses for most people, and you get another 13% boost. But more importantly, your brain completely rewires itself. Now here's where the math gets absolutely insane. Let's say you're saving $1,000 a month. You're investing it, getting an 8% return. Pretty standard stuff. Your first $20,000 takes about 19 months, a year and a half of discipline, of saying no, of eating at home, of skipping things you want. It sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. Most people quit somewhere around month 7 when they realize they could have bought a jet ski instead. But let's say you push through. Your second $20,000 only takes 17 months.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Same effort, same monthly savings, same investment strategy, but 2 months faster. Why? Because now you've got that first $20,000 working alongside you, making money while you sleep, while you're at work, while you're binge-watching shows you've already seen 3 times. Your money is out there hustling. Third $20,000? Even faster.
Woohoo!
By the time you hit $400,000 in your portfolio, you can generate $20,000 in just 5 months.
Wow!
The same amount that took you nearly 2 years initially is now happening automatically. It's like watching someone else level up in a video game. Wait, you mean I just exist and money appears? Yes, that's compound interest, baby. Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world, and honestly, he wasn't wrong.
Woohoo!
But here's the part that blew my mind when I finally hit $20,000. It wasn't really about the money. I know that sounds like some Instagram guru nonsense, but stay with me. Saving $20,000 means you did something most people never do. You controlled yourself. For months, maybe years,
Yeah.
you said no to things you wanted. You tracked every dollar. You resisted every impulse purchase screaming at you from your phone. Flash sale, 70% off! And you were like, nice try, capitalism. Not today. You became a different person. You became someone who can delay gratification, someone who can see the bigger picture,
Yeah.
someone who doesn't need instant satisfaction every time their brain says, treat yourself.
Huh?
And that's not just a financial skill, that's a life skill. This is why people who save their first $20,000 usually end up wealthy. Not because $20,000 is enough money, but because they proved they have what it takes. They're not the person who blows their tax return on a TV anymore. They're the person who invests it and forgets about it. Here's another thing that changes. You start seeing opportunities instead of threats. When you're broke, everything is a disaster. Car repair? Disaster. Laptop dies? Catastrophe. Rent increase? End of the world. Your entire life is just putting out fires. But when you have $20,000,
Woohoo!
car repair? Annoying, but whatever. Laptop dies? Guess it's upgrade time.
Yeah.
Rent increase? Maybe I should finally negotiate that raise. Or move somewhere better. Same events. Completely different emotional response. And then you start noticing opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't take advantage of. Your friend, hey, I'm starting a business. Want to invest? Broke you. Haha, yeah, good luck with that, cries internally $20,000 you. Tell me more. Let me see the numbers. A killer real estate deal pops up. Broke you. Scrolls past on Zillow. Feels sad, $20,000 you. Let me run the numbers on this. This is what wealthy people mean when they say, money goes to money.
Wow.
It's not some conspiracy. It's just that having money gives you options. And options create more opportunities. And opportunities create more wealth. It's a loop. A good loop for once.
Huh?
Now let's talk about what happens to your job situation. This might be my favorite part. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're trapped. Your boss could be a nightmare. Your coworkers could be toxic. The work could be soul-crushing. But you can't leave because you need that next paycheck like you need oxygen. This makes you the worst negotiator in history. Asking for a raise? I was thinking, maybe, possibly, if it's not too much trouble, could I perhaps... No. Okay, cool, thanks, bye. Pushing back on unreasonable demands? Can you work this weekend, and next weekend, and also your birthday? Absolutely, I love working. Sleep is for the weak. You're a doormat, and everyone knows it. But $20,000 changes the entire power dynamic. Suddenly, you have what I call walking away money. You could quit tomorrow and be fined for months. You're not going to. You're not reckless, but you could. And that changes everything.
Yeah.
You start asking for the raise you deserve. I'd like to discuss my compensation. Not, maybe, possibly, if you feel like it. Just, let's talk numbers. And here's the crazy part. You don't even usually need to quit. Just having that option changes your entire demeanor. You're more confident, more assertive, more willing to take risks. And people notice. Now here's where most people absolutely destroy their progress. They hit $20,000. They feel that psychological shift. They feel powerful.
Whoa.
And then they think, you know what? I deserve something nice. I've been so disciplined, so responsible, I should reward myself. I'm gonna buy that car I've been wanting. I'm gonna take that vacation. I'm gonna get that thing. And just like that, they're back to zero. No, stop, bad. That $20,000 is not a reward. It's not a prize for good behavior. It's the foundation of your entire financial future. It's the seed that grows into wealth. Here's what kills me. The average person spends more on their car over their lifetime than it would take to achieve complete financial independence. Car payments, insurance, maintenance, gas. Most people are dropping $600 to $800 every month just to get from point A to point B. Over 40 years, that's $400,000. Meanwhile, I can't afford to save for retirement. My brother in Christ, you're driving your retirement. And it gets worse. The moment you drive a new car off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. You're not just spending money, you're actively destroying wealth. Meanwhile, that same money in an investment account, growing, compounding, working for you. But cars are emotional purchases. I want something reliable. A 5-year-old Honda is reliable. A $60,000 BMW is a lifestyle choice. I want something that looks good. You know what looks better than a fancy car? A retirement account that means you never have to work again.
Yeah.
Here's what changes when you have $20,000 saved. You stop thinking, can I afford the monthly payment? You start thinking, what is this costing me an opportunity? That $30,000 car isn't $30,000. It's $30,000 that could have turned into $200,000 over 20 years in your investment account.
Wow.
Suddenly, driving a reliable used car doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It feels like a strategic choice that's funding your future freedom. And here's the beautiful irony. The person driving the flashy new car, stressed about money. The person driving the 2015 Honda, quietly building wealth and sleeping like a baby. This extends to everything. Housing, vacations, hobbies, education. Everything gets filtered through, what am I trading for this? Not in a depressing way, in an empowering way. Because you're making choices instead of just reacting to whatever shiny object appears. And you know what's wild? Once you start thinking this way, you realize you don't actually want half the stuff you thought you wanted. I need a bigger apartment. Do you? Or do you just think you need more space because HGTV told you to? I need this expensive hobby. Do you? Or are there cheaper ways to get the same joy? This isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. Look, $20,000 won't make you rich overnight. It won't solve all your problems. It won't make you happy if you're miserable, but it will do something incredible. It will give you options. It will change how you think about money. It will transform you from someone who's surviving to someone who's thriving, from someone who's reacting to life to someone who's designing it. And here's the secret nobody tells you. The hardest part isn't getting to $20,000. The hardest part is deciding to get there. Once you make that decision, really commit to it, the path becomes clear. Cut the unnecessary expenses. Increase your income. Invest consistently. It's simple. Not easy, but simple. So here's my challenge to you. Start building that foundation today. Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Because your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. And trust me, they'll thank you for it. If this video changed how you think about money, even a little bit, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Smash that like button so I know this resonated with you. And drop a comment telling me, where are you on your journey to $20,000? Are you just starting? Halfway there? Already past it? Let's build wealth together. I'll see you in the next video. Now go check your bank account, but this time with a plan. Peace.